you've been alive. Oh, but I think I'm going to get to that. I should start with the top, which is that my title is lots of different things, but they all mean the same thing. So sometimes you'll hear school librarian, media specialist, school library media specialist. I go by teacher librarian, and that's the most common title in countries like, hi. In Canada and in Australia and New Zealand, there are countries that very specifically call it out as teacher librarian because it makes it really clear that you're a credentialed teacher and you work in the library. So speaking of credentials, those are mine. I have a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy. I have a Master's degree in Education. I have an Oregon teaching license and an educational media endorsement to my license. And then I have my National Board certification. Question?
Which college did you attend to get those degrees?
I got my Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy from the University of Texas at Arlington, because I grew up in Texas. We'll talk about that later. My master's was here in Portland at PSU, and that's where, at that time, there was a dual program where you could get your teaching license and your library media endorsement at the same time. So I was at a school where I was doing my student teaching in a classroom, happened to be an English classroom, and in the library at the same time. And my National Board certification just happened a few years ago while I've been here at Madison. And so there are lots of professional organizations, and I strongly encourage you to become part of your professional organizations when you become teachers. The American Library Association is kind of the umbrella association for all libraries in America, and then the American Association of School Libraries is like a division of that organization. So I'm a member of both of those, and actually I added YALSA, which is the Young Adult Services division of ALA. It's not on there, but I'm a member of that now too. Oregon Association of School Libraries, so that's our statewide organization. The Portland Association of School Libraries, so those are Portland librarians. The Portland Reading Council and the Oregon Reading Association. Lots of memberships. Oh yeah, see, I made this last year, sorry. And this is my favorite library quote that I like put on postcards and bookmarks and stuff like that. Because I love that image, and I love Jorge Luis Borges. He's one of my favorites. So this part of the presentation is a chunk that I took out of the, I have a staff orientation that I send out to teachers in the building so that they can, especially new teachers, so they can know what services they can come to for and stuff like that. So I'll just kind of go through this quickly, but if anything, if you have questions, stop me. So this is designed for the new teachers in the building. So what can I do for you? What does a school librarian do? Welcomes each student to the library to explore and learn, locates current research and information for students, staff, and administrators, collaborates with teachers to plan, teach, and evaluate instruction, teaches students to find and evaluate information from many sources, teaches students and staff how to use databases and access online information. I think I've done some of that with you guys. Teaches the methods and formats of the research process. Get to that with you guys too. I also promote reading and literacy at appropriate age and skill levels, and at Madison the skill levels are a wide range because we have such a diverse population, but it keeps it interesting. Provides equal access to information, including linking to other libraries, and prepares all students to be enthusiastic lifelong learners. That's the goal anyway. School librarians answer questions. Oh, do you have a question?
Oh, I was going to say.
Look, I answer questions from students.
Well, I'm not sure if you're going to mention this in your slides,
That's
but
okay.
I was going to say, what made you want to become a librarian?
Oh, that's a great question. I have a little story about that. Should I tell my story right now?
Yeah.
What? Librarian?
Tell us how it
That's how I say it?
She's crazy.
Oh, okay, whatever. That's how I say it.
Additional R in there. Yes, I will answer that question. So I used to work in the corporate world, and I had this corporate job downtown in a fancy building, and there's an organization, a group in Oregon called SMART. It stands for Start Making a Reader Today. Are any of you guys familiar with this organization?
No.
You are? Nice. I actually have a volunteer in the library who shelves our books right now, and she goes to her SMART gig, and then she comes here. So what SMART does is they recruit people from the community to go into schools and to read for a half an hour each with 2 kids. So the idea is, if you're like a corporate person, you can come into a school, like an elementary school, and read to kids for a half an hour. 2 kids, so for an hour. And so I used to do that. I used to go and read to kindergartners, and it's just, kids that need a little extra attention. The teacher like picks some kids that need a little extra attention with reading. And you sit down and read books with them, and it's really super fun and awesome. And I would do that and then have to go back to my job, and I would hate going back to my job. I wanted to stay. So then I started researching teaching programs, and then while I was researching teaching programs, an instructor at PSU said, oh, if children's literature is why you're interested in becoming a teacher, you should think about becoming a school librarian. And so like that conversation totally changed my life, because here I am. You just never know, huh? Do you have a question?
Was that like, it was a part of your job, so like, did you get paid to go out and like read to kids? Or
well, like I was getting my salary from my corporate job, and then they were part of this program, so they like agreed to give their employees that hour to go volunteer. So it was like that's sort of getting paid.
A lot of businesses will do that, where
Yeah.
like they give their employees 4 hours every month to go volunteer with the nonprofit or community space of their choice.
So you might have seen something like that. Sometimes Kohl's will like send 100 people to come like clean up the school grounds or something like that. I'm sorry, not Kohl's, which is the, not the Home Depot, but the other one?
Lowe's.
Lowe's. I don't know.
Like Colt.
So sometimes Lowe's will do that, and then you'll see all these people in their Lowe's shirts, and they're like out there digging and like cleaning up and stuff, and you're like, what's going on? And it's because it's like their service day or whatever. Yeah.
Nike does that, Intel.
Lots of companies do it, yeah, it's cool. It's a cool program that corporates do to give back to their community.
What was your corporate job?
I was working in HR at that time.
Oh.
I worked in human resources a lot for different companies. In Portland and other places. Yeah. So if you need resume help, I'm your gal. I also just want to mention, because it's one of those things where that instructor who said you should become a school librarian, I was taking his children's literature class, and he also came up to me. I was sitting next to this woman who I didn't know, and he said, you two should be friends. And so at the break, we were like, hi, I'm Nancy, and she's like, hi, I'm Sonia. And she ended up introducing me to my husband.
Wow.
So that one person, right? Like, totally changed the
Wait, can we
That
also
was
hear that
God.
story?
It's crazy.
Can we hear that story too?
What?
About how you met your husband? Can
Oh,
we
how I
hear
met
that
my
story?
husband. Oh, so Sonia,
Yeah.
we became really good friends. We had all this stuff in common. He was totally right. I should have been friends with her. And he was her housemate. And she was like, you should meet my housemate. So,
I think Sonia knew.
anyway, she totally did, yeah.
She had a plan.
It took us a long time, but she knew from
I
me.
should be together. I had to make it
All I
happen.
can think about is how during breaks and passing time, though, everyone in mass is on their phone. Like, there's no meeting.
It was, we didn't have phones back then. We barely had the internet. We had a little bit of, yeah, we were like talking to
Definitely do
people
meet
face to
people.
face. Talking to actual people. It was good times. Okay, so that was personal. That's okay.
Feels great.
So here are some examples of some questions that students might ask in my official capacity as school librarian. Parents ask questions, and administrators will ask questions about things that I can struggle with. And teachers ask us lots of questions. Good. All right, and then this is just stuff that you guys probably know. So I teach teachers how to access the catalog. Here's the step-by-step how you would find a memoir in the library. Books and materials, so I encourage teachers to look at the Madison Library website, which I keep up, and there are like lots of materials and resources for them to use there. And then OSLIS, and you guys know about how to access it from home and things like that, but teachers don't always know. And Learning Express Library, where you probably, or maybe, you've taken AP practice tests and things like that. So all this stuff is in here so that our teachers know that these resources are available to them. And then I talk about how passes work, what substitutes are allowed to do and not do, how to reserve the library. This is a collaborative planning sheet, and you guys can have access to all this stuff. This might be something that's interesting for you to use. Yeah.
When are the days that the library is not open?
Well, every day is different in the Madison Library, it turns out. So we're open unless there is something going on in the library where we have to be closed, and I only close the library unless when it's really necessary. So for example, Ms. Onis had her CCE class in there, and there was another class in there, and they were listening to a leadership panel, but we still had the library open because they were over at the tables and people could still come in and access the computers or check out a book or read or whatever. So in some cases, the library doesn't have to be closed, but sometimes, like on October 15th when Arun Gandhi is here, there's going to be a facilitated group discussion that he has with the class, and so that we want that to be like a protected time, and so the library will be closed at that time. But usually it's open. Good question. So just a guide for when I'm collaborating with teachers. Teachers need to know about how to do laminating, and so that's just some information about that. Oh, is that the end of my?
Although if they want, you guys know what it means to laminate something, right?
Yes.
If you guys need that for your lessons that you'll teach in the spring, then you would go ask Andrea and Sullivan.
Yes, so we can help you with that when you have projects in the spring that you need laminated. I know, it's kind of funny, it's a really important thing. So that was the whole presentation that I was just gonna kind of show you guys what I do. But we can talk about whatever now.